I have your attention, please. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Is disrespecting teachers and authority. There is a place to stand your ground, but these kids today are horrible. We are not cursing teachers out. We are not throwing things. We are not plainly being disrespectful. And then when the teacher calls the parents, it's a problem.
No, ma'am, I'm not trying to get smart. I just want us to work together to ensure the success of your scholar.
Well, I mean, what he doing?
He won't sit down and he won't stop talking. Therefore, he's not able to complete.
You can't make him sit down.
Well, I can't make a child do anything. I can request it, I can ask it, but I can't make him do it. And so I'm wanting to work together.
Like, I seen him up there to that school because y'all need to know how to handle them. I thought they had teachers that know how to handle kids. I mean, if y'all can't handle them, I don't know what you want me to do.
Little, does he need his mother? Yes. So mother's in the first position, father's in the second position. When the boy gets older, needs his father. Controversial, more than his mother. Because what happens when a boy is little, a mom's instincts are protect him, feed him, nurture him, keep him out of harm's way, make sure he succeeds and he feels good about himself. When he's in his 20s, dad says, you need to let him grow up, make some mistakes, stumble over his own feet, earn his own food, get off the payroll, lose a little bit.
Type shit. Man, Quez, go on. We don't need that shit. Go on. Go on about your business, man. We don't need that.
Really?
Because the thing is this. At the end of the day, I take care of him. All I asked you to do was to step in and give him something.
That's all I'm doing. That's my son, man. That's all I'm trying to do is be there for him and raise him right.
You don't got to discipline him and yell at him out.
I ain't had my father in my life, okay? So I know what it feels like, but I need to raise him and discipline him and show him the right way. Better than I did, you feel?
No, I don't agree with you on that part. I don't agree with you on that part.
You can't be serious, man. That's bullshit, man.
Man, just go on and go. I'll take care of my son from here. We
don't
need
okay.
We good.
Hey, keep that same energy when you need some money now.
All right.
All right.
Why we not talk? Well, let's talk about it. We live. We live. Yeah.
That's the show, Dada!
The last 7 days have been totally insane, but we made it. Now buckle up and get ready for the most organic conversation on the internet with your hosts, the Force, the King, the Kamikaze, the Great and Terrible. Up to it, down to it. Pour a glass and talk some trash. Welcome to the show, and thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a good time tonight right along with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell a friend. Let's go up to it.
Is he talking silent?
What up? Oh no, we out here, baby. We all good. There we go. We got all the trimmings, all the extra stuff, all the sparkles and everything going on today. Is everybody good? Are we good on the mic check? The 1, 2.
I feel like it's New Year's or something with this.
Yeah, man. Sprinkle a little bit of Up to It Down to It Bay on there. You know what I'm saying?
There we go.
That's what it is, man. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Assuming we can still call you that. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the most organic conversation on the internet, Up to It, Down to It. I'm your boy, the Great and Terrible Trey. We got a bunch of stuff to bring to y'all today. We got the whole squad here tonight, man. So shout out to that. We got all four in here, baby.
in the
So,
building.
it's gonna be nice and crazy when we got everybody involved. So I hope y'all got your drinks ready. I got both of mine together, which we'll get to in just a second. But that's neither here nor there. With that being said, let's get to some of these intros. For those of you who are here for the first time and don't quite know who we are, we're going to introduce ourselves and say a little something, something. Everybody else, y'all know what time it is. So, Kev, the immovable force, that guy right there on this side or that side. I think it's this side. This side. There we go. He going to talk to you. What's good, my man? Talk to us, brother.
Europe, happy Friday was good with the people. Listen, Valentine's Day is around the corner. And I cannot stress this enough, regardless of the position that you're in, love is on the menu. So, love on yourself, love on each other, your friends, your families, love on your significant others, whatever position you're in, love is on the menu. And let yourself be drunk in love. So we are on all things captain tonight, you know what I'm saying? Double fisting, if we will. So the mixed drinks are made from good old Captain Morgan spice rum. You know what I'm saying? We taking shots of the Captain Morgan private stock because these are not equally to be drunken. You understand what I'm saying? But all day it is Captain. Look at me. I'm the captain now. Okay. Also keep you some water at your side. Take them breaks when you need to. And as long as it's not Aquafina, we not judging you. Y'all gonna pay me Aquafina? Let's talk about it.
Come on, Aquafina.
We're
Come
not
on.
even, we're not, I'm not even counting Aquafina as water until they start paying. So
Come on.
These are things. These are things.
it's just what it is, man.
Pay what you owe.
Pay
Half,
what you
Aquafina.
owe.
Half.
Eddie.
At least half. Why you treat me like animal? That's what it is. Moving right along, we got down bottom. My man's my LB, the inspirational King Rich. What's good, brother? Talk to us.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Hope everybody is doing fine like wine and getting better with time. I'm gonna keep mine short and sweet, man. Discernment is on the mind. Actually, I got a text that says not everything is as it appears on the surface. Before making judgments, ask for discernment from the Holy Spirit to help distinguish the truth from the lie. So, I'm glad that came to my phone. It's actually what I've been thinking about with everything that's going on. We might get into a couple of things like I think we might have mentioned Cat Williams last week, but also Monique, that situation with what's going on. It's with everybody telling their truths or just coming out and I'm not saying she's lying. I did quotations because it's a truth from the perspective of that person. But the thing that I hate the most is an internet mob, lynch mob, as I call it. I hate that because people just jump on the bandwagon. Just do some discernment, man. Just with your everyday life, don't take everything at that surface value. It's time for us to dig deeper, and really get down to the nitty gritty. Find the truth. Let's get beyond the lies. But as Kev was saying, man, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. So, for those of you that don't celebrate, for those of you that do celebrate, either way, have a good time. And it's so. I'm gonna just say this: my wife and I, we never really put a whole thing on Valentine's Day, but this time around we're gonna do something. We're gonna go out, have a good time, and it's because you get busy and things come up. So this time around we gonna celebrate. We're gonna have a good time, and not make any more babies because we're done. The shop is closed, but have a good time, man. Just like tonight, come on, invite your friends, tell a friend to tell a friend. There's still time. Tell them to get in here because it's about to go down. We got some real good things to talk about. So let's get into it.
I wonder actually, what's the over under on them actually not making another? No, I'm playing. We should start taking bets.
1,000.
Taking bets in the comments.
1,000. You know what the 1,000 is, right?
Yeah.
That's the pullout game. Okay.
That's the he said pullout game is strong, but that gripper.
The gripper.
That's how I got. That's how I ended up with two of them. Anyway.
got.
Got, boy. Tried to pull and that gripper said no.
Listen,
it said no.
That's another episode. That was 69. So we're gonna have to
Yeah.
for another episode. Is
We're still high. We're still high off of episode 69.
Yeah, that's it.
We shall
The
forever
remnants of episode 69.
Forever on 69.
Because we at the ready.
Yeah.
At the ready. 69 is at the ready.
Yeah. And we're mature over here.
Yeah.
Mature. All right, come on. We got to move on.
Let's move on. He's back, y'all. He's been gone for a couple of weeks. Yeah, man. He's been back. He's been gone for a couple of weeks, but he's back here with us. He's that boy, the kamikaze comeback season. What up, Q? Talk to us, good brother.
Hey, what it is, y'all? Good to be back in for another week. I'm not going to hold you long. What's been on my mind? Everything has been kind of hectic coming into 2024. I said everything's been kind of hectic coming into 2024. You know, work life, trying to keep a good home life, keeping the balance. What I wanted to tell y'all, make sure you carve out some time for yourself. It's important for not only your health, your mental being, your stability, but your life altogether. Have some time to relax. I'm relaxing today with my bottle of cha-cha, bringing it in with y'all for the weekend. I ain't going to hold y'all long. I'm just happy to be in, and I'm ready to kick off some topics. Let's get into it.
That's what it is. I like to cha-cha. Yeah.
Yeah. That was a vibe.
That was a vibe for real. That song was dope. It was dope. And right, speaking of vibes, I'm right along here with y'all. Y'all remember I introduced it last week, but this is that good old weed. I haven't touched it since last week, so that was the damage. So, you know, this is what it is. So I'm taking it a little bit light. We got the wine and we got the mix from that. So it's gonna get lit. It's gonna be fun. I'm ready to have a good time, fellas. Y'all ready to roll?
Let's do it.
Let's get it.
Let's do it. So first topic, as you know, because we fellas, so we like to start with a bit of a man topic. You know, sports is always a good man topic. We got a lot of things, huh?
Man is a very clear thing.
Wow.
Because man is a clear thing.
Because man is a man topic. Oh boy. we already cutting up.
I told y'all pre-show I'm a little cooked already.
Hey, I'm here for it. But yeah, we can start out with a little bit of a basketball topic. I think this one is pretty interesting. So we're going to the NBA. Kev, this is your world right here. Trade deadline. Trade deadline is that today?
It was yesterday.
By
far, one of the most underwhelming trade deadlines I've seen. I'll actually go ahead and give my award to the Milwaukee Bucks, who found a way to land Pat Beverly from the Philadelphia 76ers. And I mean, like I halfway understand it because Joel Embiid got hurt and he's going to be out for a significant amount of time. So like Philly almost wants to kind of drop a little bit to hopefully recover after the fact. And Milwaukee aggressively needs defense. So that was probably the best move. Yeah, it was just an underwhelming trade deadline. Like we expected some stuff to happen and it never did. So a lot of teams are standing pat. The new collective bargaining agreement has teams, operating a little differently. They've had a chance to take a look at who's in the draft and, teams want to hold on to their picks or whatever the case may be. But yeah, it never, it wasn't this year what it's been in some recent years. So we'll see what happens come playoff time.
I get it. I think the kids are saying this. It wasn't giving, right? Is that how that works? How that works?
Yes, it didn't give what it was supposed to give.
It didn't give what it was supposed to get.
That's crazy.
I teach high school.
It didn't give what it's supposed to get. Yeah, I mean the kids are wild.
Yeah,
the kids are wild. But it's funny you mentioned Joel Embiid. Actually, he's a similar person in this topic of conversation. And this is about the MVP candidacy. I'm sure you've heard about this. For those who haven't, the NBA in October basically said that if you have not played I believe it's 65 is the threshold. If you haven't played at least 65 games, you would be ineligible for. Now, is it all yearly awards or just the MVP award?
All yearly awards.
All yearly
Learn all
awards,
this.
right? So all yearly awards you are not eligible for. I got a video clip by Joe Dumars here real quick. We're kind of listening to him and give our full reaction. Let's take a look.
Something in, Malika, there are going to be some unintended consequences. And we knew that going in. And that's why we put the threshold at, like, you can miss up to 20% of the season and still be eligible. But we always knew that, look, there could be a situation where one of the players went past 20% of the season who's having a good year. But you can't, like, not put the rule in because of that one or two guys that it may affect.
Are there any discussions about changing this for next season?
There's been no discussions about that. No one has called and said we should, renegotiate this or anything like that. There's been no calls like that.
So you can catch the full version of our conversation with Joe Dumars on YouTube, but I pushed back on that when he said one or two players. It's not just one or two players. No. There would have been 5 players on All-NBA last year that would not have been eligible, including Giannis Antetokounmpo, who was the lead vote getter because of that rule. He only played in 63 games.
Anytime you put something in.
So let's kind of break that down just a little bit. We got 5 players. I think there's a slide for this one. 5 players. Shout out to ESPN's Instagram. Here we go. 5 players: Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Halliburton, Donovan Mitchell, and Devin Booker, who would potentially, if they miss a few more games, it all depends on how the season shakes. But if they miss a few more games, they would be ineligible for all yearly awards. And a lot of their contracts, a lot of players' contracts are connected to yearly awards. A bonus for Defensive Player of the Year, or a bigger bonus for MVP or whatever. Whatever the case may be. So the argument here is there's 2 arguments. One argument is that if you miss 20%, basically 20% of the season, you're ineligible, and it just is what it is. You weren't here for 25% of the season, or 25% of the season, you're ineligible. The other argument is, well, that costs players money, and we're now in the kind of the era of load management, where players are being sat so that they could be in better position for the playoffs, and so on and so forth. So that's kind of the arguments being made. Kev, I'll start with you, and then we'll go ahead and go around. What's your thought on this rule? Do you think they should change it?
So I'll try not to take the full argument. But this was a discussion the other day, and it was, I want to say it was something to the effect of, like, this was already an unspoken rule that, like, in order, if people were going to be voting for MVPs, you're not voting for a person who played 30 games, but in them 30 games, they averaged 35 points a game. Because, like, an art of playing basketball is to maintain your health, make yourself available, that kind of thing. Like, if it was the playoffs, would you play that game? You know what I'm saying? And if it's not the playoffs and it's just the regular season, now you sitting out. But, you have a person who saved their money, for months so that they could take their son to their first NBA game to see their favorite player who got placed on load management for that night. So now your hundreds of dollars has gone to watching, reserves play for a person that y'all didn't want to see. And so, like, the heart of this is you want the fans to get their money's worth. Like, if your players are truly healthy, play the players. There are certain players who have played 80, 82 games a season and haven't missed. They've been in the league 5, 6, 7 years. Like, if you're legitimately hurt, it's understandable. If you just, got a little bump, little bruise, like, you can fight through that because people are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars, to sit courtside and watch you play, to be in the first few rows and watch you play, to hold a sign up with your name on it and you sitting on the sideline in street clothes. So, like, that's the heart of the rule. And of course, even these injured players still have the option, or like are still eligible for all-star teams, which will bring its own bonuses. But those all NBA ones do cost them $30 to $40 million. So you got to find a way to stay healthy, and it just is what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. LB, what you think, man?
Um, I, I, I'm a little torn because I'm like, you know, if you love the game, you want to play in every game. Um, like for me personally, I want to play in every single game because I want to win every single game because I want a spotless record. I want to win every single game. And sitting out a player is, I mean, it does it make logical sense so that you can save him for the playoffs? Yeah, it makes logical sense. I mean, they do it in other sports. You if it's a pointless game, you don't want to risk your player getting injured. So it's a smart move. But for me, again, it's just like, you know, I want to win every game. I want to be in every game. I want the ball in my hand. Um, so, I was wondering though how that works with the players that get injured, because I haven't looked too deep into like what the exact rule is and how that affects injured players versus just players being, set out for what's it called, load management, right? So, yeah, I feel like they're just trying to keep an honest and accurate assessment for those going for this award. Like, if you only play in 30 games, but in all of those 30 games you scored something crazy like 60 points in every single 30 of those games, but you didn't meet the 65 requirement. I think that's the new, like, yeah, you did it for 30, but could you have done it for 65? We don't know. So guess what? You're not eligible for that award. So I mean, only time will tell. And so it's not that I don't like the rule. I'm fine with it. I think they just need to adjust. And I would really like to see some more I don't want to say entertainment basketball. I don't know. I feel like I wanted to see more grit, more, and I have seen more of that, this season, with the highlight clips because again, I'm not a big NBA person. I haven't sat there and watched a whole game in I don't know how long, but I do catch up on the clips, and it is I do see, like, they're playing harder. It's becoming more entertaining again.
Right.
And I respect,
Right.
what the players are saying. They want longevity in the game as well. They're trying to make smart moves, smart money moves, all of that. I get it.
Well, well, speaking of smart money moves, taking a look at this one, Tyrese Halliburton, he's been out with a hamstring injury for missed 13 games. If he missed 4 more games, he wouldn't be eligible for making an All NBA team in a fourth NBA season. So that's potentially a cost of up to $41 million. So if he misses, how many games is that? 4 more. If he misses 4 more games, he could potentially miss out on that $41 million. Q, what's your thought on this?
I was listening. I do agree to an extent on that rule. And the reason I say that from an entertainment standpoint, if you're saving up your money to go to a game, like Kev said, you're not going to want to pay to see second string play for a game. But at the same time, when you look back at NBA over the past couple of years, there has been quite a few players who just didn't show up to practice or just didn't show up for a game and sat on the bench. So I can see where it can hinder the people that actually put in the work and get injured, how it can hurt their bank. But at the same time, I see how it's setting a precedent for any of the new people coming in after the draft, uh, just to show that they need to have commitment to the team. They can't just walk away and just be out for no apparent reason. So I think it's putting a lot of pressure on the new people coming in for the games.
Yeah, well, the, the, the the pressure. These people get paid millions of dollars to put up with
And
the
I
pressure.
mean, with
And
that being
that's
enforced, we might get back those old NBA games. Like, I used to see games, and the only way I can describe it is the games had brawn. A lot of brawn. Like, you seen people actually putting in the blood, sweat, and the tears. You don't see that much nowadays. And I think that's going to make people want to stay into the game and be like, you know what, I'm going to be here for every game this season. So I can't be mad at it.
Yeah, I think the game has gotten more technical over the years. A little less rugby style basketball. Which I mean, I'm okay with that. I just remember a time, where there was a man named Michael Jordan, and unless he was hurt, he wasn't missing no games. There was a man named Kobe Bryant who we will talk about a little bit later on. Unless he was hurt, he wasn't missing no games, right? And so in those, and even and obviously there were other ones too, Charles Barkley, Reggie Miller. Like I don't recall any of the old superstars, the old Hall of Famers doing load management. I've never been a fan of load management, though I do understand it. I do understand it. I've never been a fan of it because in the end, you got 41 home games and 41 away games, and your role, your job still is to number one win the game and number two put butts in the seats, right? And winning games puts butts in the seats. And when your best players aren't playing, chances are you have a lower chance at least of winning the game. And then on top of that, you probably have fewer butts in seats because who knows? You got fans that feeling cheated because they were expecting to see Giannis, and like you said, Giannis is in a street suit. So personally, I like the rule. If you want to go for MVP or you want to go for an end of the year award, if you're an elite player and you're going to go after an end of the year award, yeah, you got to stay healthy. You got to stay healthy. And I think really, if you think about any successful franchise, if you're going to have a successful season, you got to be able to stay healthy. Now, I know that kind of also makes the argument for load management, right? If you play fewer games or have a less rigorous schedule, you're likely to be healthy through the playoffs. But again, we found ways to do that in the past. Fans are coming to see you more so than any other sport. In football, for example, fans go to see the team usually more than just the player. And basketball is a much different kind of a setting. You really do have players, individual players that fill the seats. So I'm on board with it. I mean, if you want to end of the year awards, stay healthy. You got to play through the whole year.
Yeah, and I think about my profession as a teacher. We get 3 personal days and 9 sick days, and after that, it's money out of your pocket. You know what I'm saying? So like,
straight up,
there's no job that you can go into where you be like, I'm gonna work every other day, but I still need y'all to pay me full time like that. So like it's what you signed up for. And that's it. And but on the other side of that, like a lot of the low management stuff isn't even a player's decision. It comes from the top down. Owners say, I don't want my players playing during the regular season. I want them to be fresh for the playoffs.
Yeah.
And a GM has to run with that or they lose their job. And a head coach has to run with that or they lose their job. So like it's a lot that goes into it. But this is that like hard rule that puts, everyone in place to put the best product on the floor. So hopefully we'll see that happen.
Yep. I want to jump to something Richard said too, and kind of segue with that example. He was talking about how you don't see as much grit and fire and fury and brimstone in basketball so much anymore. Really, you kind of don't see it really in too many other sports. So this, with that said, this photo and comment kind of uh, sparks my interest, and I want to know what y'all think about this. And this is I would assume, members of the 49ers with Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, because that's in San Francisco right there. So people that he knows. And this comment says, what happened to the NFL rivalries? These dudes are about to play the most important game of their lives, and they're taking selfies.
Man, listen. I think there are rivalries that still exist. Of course they do, right? And a lot of times, what I've seen is like you got to read between the lines because like the sarcasm and stuff, like the way that I was about to call them these kids, but the way that they communicate or their sarcasm is a little different. So it's kind of like it's almost like that smile in your face, kind of like or sarcasm of giving a compliment or whatnot, like, Or like I think it was because I saw bits and pieces of some of that where I think it was Kelsey was saying, yeah, that's right. Come on, 49ers, come on, 49er fans, come with it. I love it. I love it. And he was actually talking about the booze. So, you know, uh, he probably smiling because he knows he about to win. I don't know. I think the rivalries are still there. It's just not. It's not that aggressive, in your face middle finger. It's more of a sarcastic, type of beef now because they don't know if they're gonna get fined or not. Let's be real. they don't know if they're gonna get fined or not. So even that
Fined
is
and
different.
canceled.
Even that's different, from back then. Trash talking, all of that is different. So
You can legit get fined and canceled and everything else for, offending the wrong person, talking too much trash to the wrong person. So
at the
that's a
end of
fair
the
statement.
game, kicking the ball into the stands. I mean, anything. So it comes with the culture that's been created.
Good.
So on one hand, it does look like this kumbaya before y'all about to, again play the most important game of your lives, right? And on the other hand, I see a little sarcasm there where they're treading lightly so that they don't get fined. They're here so they don't get fined, kind of deal.
ESPN did a special on before the AFC Championship on a relationship between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, and the both of them admitted like they're like good friends. You know what I'm saying? And like think back for us, when we play ball in the neighborhood, who you play against? You played against your friends.
Yep,
When
straight
you
up.
but when you played against them, wasn't shit friendly while you was playing. You know
Not
what
doing
I'm saying?
Nope.
When the game was over, everything was cool. But while you was in between the lines, while you was on the court, I like because you're my friend, I'm going to go at you as hard as I possibly can. And that was the conversation with Pat Mahomes and Josh Allen. Like, yes, that is my friend, but also we competing for the same thing. So like I'm going to like go at your neck. And I guess the part that kills me, like even in this picture, you got Pat Mahomes and Brock Purdy. Pat Mahomes is a quarterback. Brock Purdy's a quarterback. At no point will the two of them be on the field at the same time. So yes, Brock Purdy wants to lead his team to a win. Patrick Mahomes wants to lead his team to a win, but one of them is not trying to stop the other. They're only trying to control the part of the game that they can control. But like people have this narrative that because you're friends, you don't give your friends the business. No, like I want bragging rights over my friend. I want to show my friend up. Every time we go for a drink, I want to be able to say, but I whooped your ass though. Like that's you know what I'm saying? Like that's a part of the game. That's the trash talk that Rich is talking about. Like, I may not be able to say it in that moment, but trust and believe when we meet up in the off season, I'm bringing the trophy with me to have dinner with us. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be on my side because I won. Like the sportsmanship is there. The competition is there. Y'all it's like you said, we're not beating the hell out of each other because that's not necessary. It's just literally my team beat yours. Now what you going to do?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that if they had an actual rivalry team, I mean, it again might be somebody smiling sarcastically, but I'm pretty sure there'd be some mugs or, you know, I just don't see I don't see a strong rivalry here with the Chiefs and 49ers.
I mean, but there should be a rivalry there. I'm pretty sure the 49ers see a rivalry because the Chiefs literally took the championship from them a couple years ago. Literally took it
I
from
mean,
them in the last 5 minutes. So I'm pretty sure the 49ers think it's a rivalry.
well, I mean, a growing one, right? If this continues, absolutely. That's like Baltimore and the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Like the Chiefs have kept Baltimore at bay for how long now? So I mean, yeah,
I mean, really. Well, I guess two seasons. The 20
Anybody
2019 and this season. The Ravens kept themselves out in a lot of these seasons for
Why?
real. But I hear what you're saying though. I hear what you're
It's
saying.
all listen. You know,
Anybody in the Chiefs.
Really, anybody in the Chiefs. They've been there what five? The whole AFC in the Chiefs because they've been this their what sixth straight Super Bowl, fifth straight.
Sick of them.
They like the Bulls in the '90s.
They're LeBron. They're the LeBron James of the NFL right now. Like,
yeah,
you can just bank on them being in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah. He's the. They say he's the next Tom Brady. He's the next guy that you don't bet against in January. You just don't bet against Patrick Mahomes, just like you didn't bet against Tom Brady in January. It was a big mistake. You were probably going to lose. There was a high probability you were going to lose that bet if you bet against Tom Brady in January. And Patrick Mahomes the same way. Q, what's your thought, man? You've been quiet.
Man, I'm just looking at it because I think they still do have a rivalry, but I think people forget that at the end of the day, despite them being NFL players, they are still human. You got to have an on and off switch sometimes. And I think nowadays when it comes to sports, people are looking at it like it's the WWE. Like, you want to see some trash talk, you want to see people getting slammed in the tables. Like, look, leave all that talking on the side. It's good for entertainment standpoint, but I want to see the action on the field. Don't be a hummingbird. Well, no, what did he say? Don't be a humming-gator. I want to
Don't be a humming gator.
Don't be a humming gator.
Yeah, got mouth like an alligator, body like a hummingbird. It's all that clapping, all that clapping.
And this it's a children's game at the end of the day. Like, let's and people put a lot of value in this because they place their bets on it, but like, this is a kid's game. Like, these people are paid millions of dollars to play a kid's game. So whether we talking low management in the NBA or rivalries in the NFL or NHL or soccer or whatever, they're paying millions of dollars to play a kid's game. Like,
literally,
it's not that deep.
And another factor that wasn't, I say it wasn't as prevalent in our day as kids, and beforehand in the early days of the NFL and the NBA, as it is now, is a lot of these guys they're coming out of the same college programs or the same divisions and stuff like that, so they know each other. So a lot of them coming out of the same schools, literally, right? You got Alabama and Georgia, for example. They got a ton of players everywhere. So chances are, whatever team you play against, you're probably going to have a teammate or somebody that you were in. They do the practice squads and stuff like that, where they have like other teams visit, and come to their training camp and stuff. So they do bud relationships in the NFL and the NBA, but they bud relationships, and so yeah, they become friends. But like we said, when we're friends off the field, when the game over, when the game is going on, you the enemy. You got on the enemy. You got on the wrong color jersey. You got on the wrongly designed helmet. Okay, you the enemy for the next 60 minutes.
Throwing up the wrong gang sign.
Straight up. Yeah. Maybe twisting your fingers up the wrong way on this part of town, homie. Speaking of twisting their fingers up the wrong way, or possibly something like that, we had the Grammys earlier this week. All kind of stuff went down. Killer Mike got perp walked after winning, I believe it was 3, right? He won 3 Grammy Awards. Shout out to him, by the way. 3 Grammy Awards, but then immediately was perp walked out of the building. The sources say that it was an altercation he got into with a security guard. I couldn't find the actual clip, but I did see it. It's making its rounds. He never actually put his hands on said security guard, so it's kind of peculiar why this was done, the way it was done, and where it was done, and how it was done, and it's kind of peculiar. What do you guys' thoughts on Killer Mike being arrested right after winning 3 Grammys?
It still left me puzzled, and the only question I had was,
turn your headphones up, Q. I can't hear you.
The security officer looked like that reported this altercation.
You said what a security officer looked like that reported the altercation?
Yeah.
That's a good question. Good question. Let me see if I can find out while y'all are talking.
Because, I mean, if it was no
Just
threats, if it
why?
was no exchanging of hands, like, why that extreme?
Yeah, I didn't see any. I didn't see any hands move on Killer Mike. I mean, and he's smart enough to know not to go swinging on a security officer, right? So, you know,
But my only question in a place where, because we're talking to Grammys, so in a place where everybody's cameras are constantly rolling, where's the footage of said altercation?
well, and that's just it. There was some, and then let me see if I can. Yeah, here we. Oh, this says cuffed in the rain. This is not it. Yeah, security officer face off. I think I did find it. All right, hold on. Let me double check this real quick. But there's supposedly some footage. I think TMZ got it of a supposed altercation between the two.
So the altercation happened in the beginning, and then after he won his 3 Grammys, then they decided, all right, let's take him now.
Yeah, let's get him, boys.
It's almost like they're trying to bring back the element of the Source Awards,
Lord
but on
Jesus,
the Grammy scale.
I just want to get to the Taylor Swift part.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, let's jump to that. Killer Mike, because that was a misdemeanor. I believe he's out already. I'll follow up on this throughout the week. I'm gonna see if I can find it. If I find it, oh wait, hold on. Is this it? Hold on.
Hold up.
Hey.
Oh yeah. This is it. Oh, hold on. All right, give me a couple minutes. But anyway, yeah, I'm a. We're going to follow up on this one. But in the meantime, we also had a riveting speech from Jay-Z in reference to also Taylor Swift. So we can jump into kind of both of those. Did y'all hear Jay-Z's speech or
Jay
elements of it, parts of it?
Z tells no lies.
Especially when he's nervous, apparently.
Yeah.
When he's
I don't
nervous,
even
apparently,
blame him
he
for
tells the
telling the
truth.
truth, but you slightly threw your wife under the bus there, buddy.
You think so?
I mean, he told the truth about Taylor, and of course the people that be choosing who wins the awards. But at the same time, you can see like Beyonce had like a blank look on her face during the awards.
Probably because she's non-confrontational, and so I won't say she's non-confrontational. She's non-public confrontational. She stand on business. High school kids, because we've seen documentary stuff like that where she's talking to her staff like, I said I wanted the lighting on the stage to be white. Why is it Pearl? Like Pearl is not white. Like she don't, what I'm saying? If she asks for something, you're not about to play in her face. But like I don't think these kinds of moments are her moments because that's just not her thing. So the blank look was probably relative to that. But again, when you let your man come to your, what I'm saying, aid, defense, rescue, be your protector, whatever the case may be, then Jay-Z can be the person he is in this scenario.
And then part of me says I kind of understand from her standpoint because I'm trying to remember which award show it was where Taylor Swift did win over Beyonce, and she admitted like I can't accept this award because Beyonce had a more better concept in my album, but yet she still won. So I get it. She was playing coy, keeping it cute, and letting her man stand the ground. I get it now. I get it now.
And I hear they support each other anyway, Taylor and Beyonce. Like they support each other. So there's no feud there. There's no beef there. There's, it's only a matter of who's doing the voting. Right.
And from what I
And
understand,
the voting is subjective. You know what I mean? So we can. There's a lot of different arguments that could be made The voting is very subjective. I don't
Yeah.
know. My question is, do do you think that? Well, let me phrase this question: how much do you think it matters to Beyonce that she gets that one? She's got it. She's got what more than anybody else. How much do you think it matters to Beyonce that she wins that one?
Go ahead, Q.
In a sense, I kind of agree with what Whoopi Goldberg said about Beyonce's Grammy wins because she won like what 32.
Yeah,
When you
32.
when you're putting up numbers like that, getting 32 Grammys, what's that one album of the year going to do? Like you've already proven your point. If you're getting 32 wins, obviously we know the quality is there. You're putting out good music. You're putting out the numbers. You don't need
Yeah,
that album of the year to show your validity. Come on. But at
I'm
the same time, I can
I'm
feel
actually
like she's putting in the hard work. She might feel like she's getting robbed of it,
then
even though
that's
both
that I was
artists.
going to say, and I think that's where I would disagree. I think like if anything should have got it, it probably should have been Lemonade. Which
I
I
agree with you
understand.
there.
I can't think of it right now, but there was another phenomenal album that came out, but I still don't think it should have won over Lemonade. Just because of like quite literally everything that went into the album, like the understanding of why that album existed. When life hands you lemons, you make lemonade. The trajectory of the album, telling an entire story, and the redemptive qualities after the fact. Like it was a production, and she was like robbed in that right. So I think anything like that should have been the one.
Hmm.
But album of the year is a different feel than you know best best song, best genre, best video, because that's one thing. But like you spend your time on a project, and somebody says it's second or third or fourth to something that didn't feel what you felt when you put that product together. Like that would be for me to swallow as well. I mean, I don't think she would ever say unless we get that, that like biography, biopsy, whatever, way down the line. But like, nah, it matters. It matters.
No, here's my
who sold more? Like who sold more albums between Taylor Swift and Beyonce? And that might just be something we can look up. Oh, you know what I mean? But like, I,
Yeah.
record sales, I think matter to some extent. I'm not sure what percentage it's weighted, but record sales do matter. If I'm not mistaken, I believe Taylor Swift outsold um, Beyonce, and I don't believe it was close. I could be wrong, but I don't believe it was close. While we're figuring that out, I found
Well,
the video that I was
Forbes,
looking
according to
for.
Forbes, according to Forbes,
Okay.
Taylor Swift. This is Forbes again. According to Forbes, Taylor Swift claims the best-selling album of 2023 so far with Midnight's, which was actually released in 2022. Again, according to Forbes.
Mm-hmm. So she's got the most sold. I'm not. This I guess this is my thing. I'm not saying that I personally would listen to. I probably wouldn't listen to either one personally. But if I was going to listen to one, I'd probably listen to Beyonce over Taylor Swift. To be totally honest with you, I would. But she sold more records too, which means that a lot more people probably would listen to hers over whoever you know not Taylor Swift was. So, but I mean, to the point that Jay-Z was making, I get it. I just I don't know how we say we want you to get it right if you were outsold. You know what I'm saying? Like I just so
So
that's all.
So, so yeah, I
uh,
mean that just goes back to like what the criteria must have been during the voting process. You know, so
sales is actually not a contributing factor
right.
to the album of the year, or it shouldn't is not supposed to be, because again,
It's not
subjective.
supposed to
But
be.
but
Yeah,
like
it's
it's
not supposed to
not a
be.
yeah. They're literally looking at the artistry of the album and its release date, which 2022 is not 2023, but whatever.
When was that in 2022? Was it like November, December 22?
It actually doesn't matter. If you put it out in that year, it's supposed to qualify for the following year. Whether your album
previous year, I guess in that case,
because that's been because I want to say I'm thinking back to Fetty Wap. Like Fetty Wap hit the scene around homecoming time. You know what I'm saying? Like that was September, October, so it was on the back half of the year. But he walked away with awards from people who had put projects out in January, February, and had more time for their records to spin. But it's just he literally came in the game.
But did he outsell them in them 4 months? Did he sell more in them 4 months than the other guys did all year? I don't know. I'm just asking.
Yeah, more than likely. Yeah,
baby. No, I don't know.
Grammy boys.
I'm just saying. I know record sales may not be supposed to be a contributing factor, but I would imagine that record sales is somewhat of a contributing factor, right? For something like album of the year. I can imagine that. Let's move on. We'll come back to that. Do a follow up if we need to. I want to show y'all this video obtained by TMZ of the incident with Killer Mike and the security. Let's take a look. Let's say that's Killer Mike right there in the middle. So, whatever that altercation was, looked like he was trying to keep walking. They wanted him to stop for some reason. I don't know exactly what it was, but that was allegedly the altercation that resulted in him getting perp walked out the Grammys. Now we know.
Doing too much.
Or, kind of.
Doing too much.
I agree. Mm-hmm. I agree. Doesn't make much sense to me. That said, last thing on the pop culture thing is Rich, I think you mentioned it earlier. Club Shay Shay. Club Shay Shay is at it again. They got another Cat Williams style viral moment with Monique. I'm obviously not going to play this whole thing. I'm just going to play like a quick 1 minute clip. I do think that it's worth giving it a listen. If you got 3 hours or where you can break up 3 hours, I do think it's worth giving it a listen on your own. But with that said, let's take a look here at some of what happened on Club Shay Shay with Monique and Shannon Sharp. Let's take a look.
Who he is. We sit in front of him and we just let this man say any and everything about us, and then we go right in with him. That to me is dangerous. Mm-hmm. And y'all babies that's good with this little computer, don't take my word. You can just go through the years of this cat just running his mouth. Mm-hmm. And it's like, stop doing that, because what are we saying to the babies coming behind us? When I hear Brother D.L. Hughley say, with that Netflix special, I just accepted anything, whatever they gave me. These are not my words, they're his. Right. Well, that's how you do business. With that Netflix special, I just accepted anything, whatever, accept anything. Right. That's the difference. Mm-hmm. It's like people were judging me. I was hearing people, Shannon, okay, I didn't know we had so many tender people in our group.
Yeah.
I didn't know we had so many tender love. I didn't know we had so many tender people, and I wouldn't want to be on the front line with these tender people where it's like, oh, I can't believe you said that. I can't. But is what I said the truth? Is what I said the truth? No, I didn't put no sugar on it.
Right.
It was shit.
Right.
And I didn't try to make it taste good. We gotta stop running away from what is real, and we run into fantasy. And that's how come we keep staying where we sit.
Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe.
All right, you can do all that later on when you go look at it on your own time. But yeah, so she was talking in that clip about D.L. Hughley and some of the just some of the issues that she's had as an actress, as a comedian. You know, feeling like she hasn't gotten the love and the support from some of the other people in the industry. But one thing she did say that she always got support from her husband, and she always felt supported by her husband. So I encourage everybody to take a look at that. Fellas, I'm going to ask y'all, did y'all get to take a look at any of the segments? I know it was a lot. At any of the segments, and what was your reaction to it?
I did. I got a chance to listen to it because when I got home, my wife was listening to it, and I had meant to chime because I saw a clip of DL like responding, but I didn't know what he was responding to. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna listen to this, at some point in the day. But on my way home, I was actually listening to The Millionaire Next Door because I don't really, let's just say let's just say I gotta grow minds and I gotta get minds. But I did get a chance to listen in, and it was there's a lot to say here because she went and she talked mainly about her experiences, her opinions, her perception of things. A lot of it, again, there's three sides to every story, right? Your side, her side, or your side, their side, and the truth, right? So she was giving her opinion, story, her side of things. But as I listened to it, I understand you want to be a certain way. If you want to be a certain way, that's fine. But that comes with it comes with being treated a certain way. It comes with repercussions. It comes with, if you want to be that type of person, it comes with being that type of person. And the world is not going to conform to you. The world owes you nothing. Period, point blank. So if DL is offered a Netflix special, he's going to take whatever they give him. That's his prerogative. So if you get a Netflix special and you don't take whatever is offered, then that's your choice. And you have to sleep with the decisions that are made. And Netflix doesn't owe you anything just because you turned down their offer and you feel like they should have treated you better. They don't owe you that. Sometimes we forget that the world doesn't owe us anything. And we get so wrapped up in woe is me or playing the victim. Now, again, is she lying about some of the things that she's saying? I don't know. But, the thing of it is, two things can be true, just like two things can be false. Like, could she have been more supported? All right, let's go there. All right, if she feels that she wasn't more supported, then why? Let's break back the layers. Like, she went into like a bunch of things, and you really got to dig through, like I said at the beginning, right? Discernment. You really got to dig through, because while the things that she's talking about might make you feel like, oh, wow, oh, she's a victim, oh, they should have did more, oh, this, that, and the third. When I listened to it, it sounded like she was there in the beginning of a lot of groundbreaking opportunities. And if she was there and decided that because she is this way and she's going to stand on her ground, and that meant she wasn't a part of it, then she has to take that accountability and stand on that, because they didn't have to change and conform to her. They said, hey, here we are. Are you in or are you out? and she chose to stand on whatever principles that she was standing on. So when I sit and listen to her side of things, I don't know. I'm gonna just say, and this is my opinion, I got vibes of narcissist. I got vibes of woe is me, and bitterness and hurt, and not getting over certain things, like harboring, not getting past, not willing to move forward, unless there is a direct apology. But again, for what? Like, what is there to apologize for? Like, some people will wait around and not move until they get this apology that's never going to come. That hurt you're feeling, you're going to hold on to that until that one person that hurt you gives you an apology that's never going to come, and you're going to stay there. Think about that. Like, doesn't make sense. And I think they said it on the show where they were like, the apology isn't necessarily, the apology is not for you, it's for the other person. You're giving out all this advice. Are you taking that advice? Like, and again, people can make it sound so sweet, but I got vibes of like, are you really looking at yourself? Like, look back at recordings of yourself. Like, if somebody said that you were difficult to work with, and then another person says it, and then another person says it, and then another person says it, I mean, we got to start looking at the why multiple people are saying it.
Versus, I think we'd also have to look at what the definition of difficult to work with is too, because Cat Williams was allegedly difficult to work with too. And just over the last couple of weeks, he dropped a lot of truth bombs on people that got people thinking a little bit different.
Again, two things can be true, right? Two things can be true. The way that she talks, or the way that Cat talks, or the way that Trey talks, or the way that Rich talks, or the way that Q talks, right? If you're building a business, right, and you want to go in a certain direction, you want certain people around you, but here's this person that is talking differently, right? And you're saying, hey, if you do this, next up is $1 million this, and then $1 million that. And they're like, no, I'm standing on this ground. And then years later, are you, with your built up company, going to say, you know what? You're going to say, you know what? I owe you millions of dollars because I should have taken you with me.
I mean,
So I'm asking, what is this old? What is this, right? So again, that's her. What I'm saying is, stop. Listen, you can bring out truth, but then again, what do you wait? What do you bring out truth? Sure. What is old? What is this apology that she's looking for? What is, and then why air out all business if certain things were directed to you and could have been handled in house?
So I'll say to that, because I think back to a couple things that we've discussed. Kurt Franklin and his son, some stuff with Deion Sanders, like things that should have been in house, but they found their way to the public. We've always said celebrity life and regular life ain't they not the same. So like, what I'm saying, where a lot of, I'll call us normal people, will handle things in house or should handle things in house. For a celebrity, it might not move the needle until you start shaking some tables. Which, what's going to shake the tables? If TMZ gets a hold of the footage, if you sit down on Shannon Sharp's couch, if take it to E and Shade Room and whatever, like that's the kind of stuff that moves the needle in celebrity worlds. Like that's the whole reason TMZ exists, is because they bring spotlight to stuff, good, bad, or indifferent. And so for a celebrity, that might be what it takes for them to get what it is they're looking for. And I'm kind of holding on to what Monique was saying, yo, Hewley, like this is what they was given, so I'm going to take it. That doesn't determine your worth. It just determines what they're willing to give. So for her, which I wholeheartedly believe Monique is a pioneer in comedy, particularly for women, like and even like big Monique and those big jokes and skinny jokes and like all of that, like that set the stage for her, and it really did make her a queen of comedy. So I don't think for a person who had that kind of precedent that you should just take whatever. So like the stuff that she talked about with Tyler Perry and Oprah and whatever, like the things that lead to blackballing people because we just believe that because Tyler Perry's name is Tyler Perry and Oprah's name is Oprah, that they don't like screw people over or they don't do people wrong. I can almost guarantee you they do, because again, what makes a successful business person successful? They find a way to preserve themselves, which I can imagine comes at the expense of someone else. So I'm just looking at her literally standing up for herself and finally having spaces to say, this is how I stood up for myself. And sometimes you have to wait till you get in those platforms, because she could have just and has been saying like, this ain't what y'all think it is. But if you can get to a bigger platform where you can say, now that the world's listening, let me tell y'all exactly what I've been saying to this point. That feels different than just trying to like attack a problem on your own. So I get what you're saying, but I think Monique's been denied a lot. And that's where a lot of this new truth is coming from. It ain't new. She's been talking the same talk for quite some time. Like, y'all not just
She
going.
definitely has.
I
Yeah.
definitely agree
Go ahead,
with
Q.
you on that. Like I didn't
So
get to see.
two things again can
Wait,
be
hold,
true.
hold
Because
on, Rich.
go
Hold
ahead,
on, Rich.
go
Q
ahead,
was
Q.
talking. He was talking.
Like I was saying, I definitely agree with Kev on that
Yeah,
point.
yeah,
She
I got.
has been saying the same thing for quite some time. I didn't get to see the full video, of course, because I don't really watch TV. But the part that I have been seeing on social media is her in the Shay with Shannon Sharp talking about who was it, Shaq, and how she was really like dropping some life gems and talking about how she confided in her husband when she was going through all of this turmoil in Hollywood, and how he pretty much was keeping her grounded and was a constant listening ear. And I think he questioned her as to like why she wasn't taking advice from Shaq, and she was like, "Why am I going to take information or take advice from somebody who doesn't have a significant other?" And I said, "Oh." It threw me for a loop, but at the same time, she was spitting facts, and I'm glad that if
But
she felt like that was part of it.
is it Shaq? Is Shaq not married? Am I tripping? Not anymore. Well, like he was at a point, right? Didn't he?
Like quite some time ago.
Yeah, a little while ago. Okay, all right, okay, all right. That's what I
Not a
thought.
little while, quite some time.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's been a
him and
good
Shunny
minute.
O'Neal have been apart for years.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Go ahead, Q. My bad.
And I mean, it was no lies being told. Like Kev said, she just needed that platform that she wanted to get her story out and that people would listen. I feel like if that was part of what she needed to get out, saying like, look, people are saying they tired of hearing me say this, but this is the person that kept me grounded. I'm going to confide in my husband, who been keeping me grounded and been holding me down this whole time. When people thought I was being difficult to work with, people thought I was being crazy. Like, if that's what she wanted to tell for her side of the story, I commend her on it. And yep, she definitely got a new husband. Shawnee definitely got a new husband. She moved on with a pastor. But yeah, I was like, I feel
True.
like Monique took the opportunity as she should. When you have an opportunity, if a door shuts, you better find the next open window. And she did just that. I can't be mad at her.
Yeah, and to her credit, that and Kevin pointed out too, she has been saying this kind of stuff for a while. She referenced in while she was talking on Club Shay Shay, she referenced Taraji P Henson and her complaints about the same people, right? The Oprahs, the Tyler Perrys of the world, the people involved in the Color Purple. Taraji basically broke down and essentially said the exact same thing, literally said the exact same thing that Monique was saying a few years back. So when history tends to repeat itself, you tend to look back. I think you tend to look back and say, "Oh, wait a minute, I feel like I've heard this before." And you go back and you see who you heard it from, and then usually you tend to find out that that there's at least some truth to that. And I think that's kind of where we are now. I don't know. What I'll say is, I don't see any Monique and Cat Williams don't have any reason to lie about the stuff that they're saying. You know what I mean? I don't think they have any reason to lie about it because it's to what end? It's like you said, Rich. It's not like Lionsgate or whoever is going to say, you know what, we saw your interview on Club Shay Shay. You're right. We owe you $25 million. Like that's not going to
At the
happen.
end of
You
the day,
might,
it's a business.
yeah, you'll win in the
At,
court of public
at,
opinion, but that's probably it.
at the end of the day, it's a business, and so for for I don't hold anybody on a pedestal. The problem is when you hold somebody on a pedestal, you know, you're like you're saying that pedestal's never going to break. That person's never going to make mistakes. This is a trophy that's always going to be here until I move it or I do something with it, right? And then what happens is when that person makes a mistake and that pedestal breaks and this, that, and the third, now you're all butt hurt, right? So, I'm not trying to take anything away from Monique. She's definitely phenomenal, right? But what I'm trying to say is we have to go from playing the victim to making an actual change. And sometimes the only way that you can change is from the inside. So, again, we can sit here and play what ifs, right? But what I'm saying is she stood on a certain principle and she should eat that. She should take it for what it was, take it for what it is. And again, I haven't heard like she talked about the phone conversation that she recorded from Tyler Perry. Again, if you're recording your quote unquote friend and then you air that again, how are people going to want to deal with you? And it was a recording of him admitting guilt or apologizing and whatnot. And so here it is. You got to he's apologizing for what he said to I guess to blackball you. But again, it perception, right? So there's a difference between somebody saying, hey, don't work with this person. Hey, do me a favor. Hey, I'm pulling all my resources. Don't work with this person. There's a difference between that and the truth being, hey, what do you think about so and so? Oh, well, I mean, they're difficult to work with, and then boom, come to find out you are difficult to work with. And listen, it's possible for you to think, and your perception is, I've been blackballed. Well, I'm me. You don't like the way I talk, or you don't like the way I carry myself. So be it. This is the way, and I'm not going. What I'm gonna say, you blackballed yourself. I'm just saying, like, there are certain perceptions. Like, if people don't want to rock with you, people don't want to rock with you. I don't think that they owe you anything. I don't think that nobody, unless again, pioneer all of that. But at the same time, if she's gonna be a certain way, then be that, own that. I just don't know. She's got. If you listen to the whole thing, it's a lot in there that she's talking about. You got to dig through it, and you really got to think like, are you really past that hurt? Or are you just holding on to this? Did you really get blackballed, or are you really difficult and you wanted to stand on your ground, and that's great, but that label doesn't owe you anything. Go create your own label. Go do what Tyler Perry did. Go do what Oprah did, whatever, and then you'll find out like it comes with certain things, certain decisions that you have to make. There are going to be certain decisions that you have to make. So
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
you're
saying
right.
that,
You're right.
and I'm not even saying that it's okay what these people did. I'm just saying that's the reality. Like, again, like I said before, it's not like you're gonna say they're gonna come back and say, "Oh, you know what? You're right. We cost your family. You can't live in that $1 million house anymore." Not saying I don't know what kind of house she lives in, but I'm just saying, like, what moves did you make in the meantime? You know
Well,
what
I doubt she sat on rested on her
Some on
laurels
her
with that.
laurels.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I doubt she did that. But I would also say blackballing is a real thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely is. I'm not saying
We
it's not.
see black,
Absolutely.
yeah, we see that in circles far smaller than Hollywood, right? And
Absolutely.
so even when it's okay, well, go create your own label. Well, then there's funding and other such things that is involved with that. And if certain people have certain people's ears, that can make things more difficult too. I applaud Monique, and I admit I was one of the detractors in the beginning, kind of saying the same thing. Oh well, they said you were difficult to work with. They said this, they said that, blah blah blah. Where I applaud Monique is that her story never changed. And one thing usually about people that are telling the truth, their story doesn't change. Usually, people that are telling the truth, their story doesn't change. A lot of these other people, they got different nuances to their story. And Monique's story in a lot of these cases has not changed. I do, again, I encourage. We don't have time to go break down the whole thing, but she talked about a lot of, to your point, a lot of different things. I do recommend you take a look at it. But she's made the same points, and now she was making it, and now Taraji's making it. Now they're an army of two. They've increased by 100%, and there's probably going to be others that follow behind her. So the win in this isn't so much that it's not something that they'll see in their lifetime. It's a lot of stuff that like we're doing now. Like we're building the framework for things that are going to outlive us. And I think that that's probably where Monique's mind is. That this is standing up for Black women in comedy and acting and so on and so forth against the Black bourgeoisie gatekeepers, because there are a lot of those, and we always talk about the white man and all this other stuff, but there are the Black bourgeoisie gatekeepers that also do exactly what she was talking about, right? That also gatekeep and work to keep themselves elevated at a certain point. So I think what she's thinking about is something that's going to outlive her, and I applaud her for it, man. If she's standing, again, like the kids say, she's standing on business. I think she should fight it as much as she can, to get whatever she can out of it. I don't know what the end result's going to be, but I'm all for her standing her ground.
Yeah. Now, here's what I'm gonna ask. What is she fighting for?
I think she's fighting for what Trey said, for something greater than herself. She's fighting for.
No, but I want to
let
get
me
like.
finish.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I've been drinking.
Same. She's fighting. She's fighting for Black female comedians, Black female actresses to have a space in these places, to command a price point that matches their value. Like I think of Monique in Precious. Like Monique played that damn role. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that showed her range beyond being a comedian. You know what I'm saying? So like when you do those things, Taraji in Hidden Figures, like you're going outside of your, you know what I'm saying? Like, and Taraji has played roles. Taraji's got the full complement of, you know what I'm saying? But there are still people who are like, yeah, but what? But nothing. Like, I've been here, I've done this, I paid my dues, I did this. Hell, all Hollywood actors have been on strike because they felt like Hollywood wasn't giving them their due. So if this entire band of actors and actresses feel like they're not getting whatever, then why in the hell does like our people, you know what I'm saying, Black owners who can put people in positions, which I'll give Tyler Perry credit. He gave a lot of people their starts, but still he got to a point where the wigs got really, really bad and his work got really, really predictable. So it was either you roll with what he's doing or you do something else. And hell, even his own sexuality couldn't be contained to where he had to blackball, because that's the word for it, some of his own actors, like Terrell Carter, an amazing vocalist, but because Terrell Carter like came out as like gay, then it was too much to deal with on Tyler Perry's scene because of his own history. So like that's why I say Holly Weird is just that for a reason. Like when people don't want to deal with their own stuff, then they're going to navigate and make it about somebody else. Think of all the stories. We've been hearing stories about Diddy for years, but now those stories are starting to make sense because certain people said what they said. These ain't new stories, just like R. Kelly stories. We've been hearing about R. Kelly since he made Bump and Grind, but it wasn't clicking until we got to the P. You know what I'm saying?
He made a song called "Age Ain't Nothing But a Number."
You know what I'm saying? And it was smooth, so it went over our heads until we
So
got
many
to the
clues.
urine. Once we got to the urine, then everybody was like, okay, this is weird now. Like, so you know what I'm saying? It's kind of what we're saying. Like, Monique's been saying the same thing this whole time. And we're just now starting to like realize that it's been the same thing.
And you know what? And that's why I kind of stand behind her on that, her and Taraji, because I don't think it's a matter of her trying to expose anybody for a bag. It's a matter of trying to lay out a line and say, look, we work hard just like male actresses. And she brought it up in the incidents. I don't think it was on the Shay Shay, on Club Shay Shay, but she brought up an instance when, prime example, she did Precious.
Breakfast Club.
Said, Breakfast Club. She did Precious, and she pretty much did all of her contracted obligations for the movie, completed the film. She was supposed to get paid. They told her, no, we need you to go overseas and promote the movie. That wasn't part of her contract.
No, actually, she did get paid. She got paid, but she wanted more money to go overseas. They weren't going to pay her anything extra. They wanted to go overseas for free,
which is still wild. It's a wild request,
right? And then apparently she met with Tyler Perry, and Tyler Perry was like, "Listen, you got, your next movie, million this. Your next movie after that, it's gonna be million this. Listen, I'm telling you, this is the vision. This is where we're gonna go. This is what it is." And she said no, and she stood on her principle that she doesn't work for free. So she stood on that principle. And again, like I said, she made that decision, and the rest is history.
But then, case
I
in
mean,
point, the
you know,
second thing
I
that still exists out there is Taraji on The Color Purple. When she brought out the point, and even the cast brought out the point, they were in unbelievable conditions on the set. Imagine you doing a film, you not getting food and water, basic necessities.
Listen, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm definitely not. The only thing I'm saying is it's a game of chess, and you got to put yourself in position. And so, if you're going to stand 100% on a principle, that's where you got to go. I mean, even when she was on doing an interview with Steve Harvey, and Steve Harvey was trying to drop hints, and then he was actually telling her like, look, this is what I did. And then there's a difference. Steve Harvey, Monique's Monique. D.L. Hughley's who he is, and Monique's Monique. So I'm not saying that, either one of them are right or wrong. I'm just saying that she chose this path, and just watch the.
But she should though. I think
talking
she
about
chose
something that's old.
I think she chose
something that was old. She kept talking about something that was old, and that just kind of like, all right.
Unresolved
It's
and old are not the same thing. Unresolved and old are not the same thing. And this is something that's been from her perspective. That's something that's been unresolved, right? There are people.
Use the word old?
Huh?
She was using old. She was using that word old.
Oh, I don't remember her using old. I'm saying you just use old, and all I'm saying is whether it's what it is unresolved in the end. Well, but whether it took 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, it's unresolved. Like there are people who, particularly people who I once called friend, who I don't and I will not associate with and will not have any conversation with until they come to me with an apology, because I'm owed one. And it ain't about it being old. This situation is unresolved. And until we discuss it, it's unresolved. Your ass is on the other team as far as I'm concerned. So you can talk about, somebody can say, well, yeah, you bringing up something from 10 years ago. Yeah, that's because we never resolved it. It never got resolved. And I think I'm on board with her doing that.
And I'll highlight Pretty Girl Guy comment. Who's to say the money was really like ever going to come? Because like that, and that again, that's the Hollywood thing. That's the well, you got to pay it forward. No, like we in this day and age, people want to be paid for what they do. It's not a you gonna pay me later. We see these posts all the time. Hairdressers who require like astronomical deposits and have a million demands before you even show up in a shop to get your hair done. Like everybody wants it on the end, but they're telling these people who have paid their dues that you're gonna get it on the back end, and then the back end may never come. Like that's a wild position to put somebody in, no matter how much money you've made, no matter how many movies you've been in, no matter what you've done. Like it's my money and I need it now.
Right. I'll leave it there for the sake of times. I do want to get to one more thing before we.
Time because I can get into like again Lionsgate. You got this again. Her with what was it? The movie, right? And she only got paid $50,000 or whatever it was, right? And it's like you're asking again. A company is thinking about the bottom line. They're thinking about money. So I'm gonna put all this money into you, hoping that if you take it international, hoping that if you go here, hoping that, and I'm gonna pay you all this money up front. Again, then that means that company's putting their money on the line to make that happen, and I just don't see a business.
Yeah, as they should. As they should.
It can. This conversation can keep going. So.
Yeah. Look, if you're gonna make a movie, you're expecting the movie to gross, and your ass should put in whatever money you're gonna put in. Because Lord knows, if you got a bigger name, you would have to put out that extra money up front just to get them, let alone to get them to do stuff, right? And so, and I'm not a fan.
Bigger following.
Maybe, but you gonna have to pay for that following. I know that.
Well, absolutely.
When you like Lionsgate or Miramax or whoever you are, you gonna have to pay for that following. Yeah. So yeah, I get that. I get it. They're trying to get free labor. They're trying to get more for less, because that's business. I understand that. But because of that, you can't, as an actor or an actress, be okay with a company projecting to make $50 million on this movie, on this project, and paying you $100,000. Like, you can't be okay with that. And that's why I give her credit. Absolutely. Like, you can't. Yeah, you still got to be able to fight against that. Like, if I know y'all are grossing billions of dollars off of my intellectual property, off of my work, off of my talent, and then you're gonna make me go overseas to promote my own talent for free? Nah, that's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy talk. I'm not doing
crazy. That. Especially when you got stage plays where everybody walking around looking like this.
Big facts. I ain't about to do that.
And you gonna tell me, oh, here go $50,000. You gonna go around the world for free and promote my movie? That's gonna make me more money?
Yeah, I ain't gonna do that. And she, like I said, she said a bunch of other things. Let's leave it.
I'll come back to this one later, y'all.
We'll definitely follow back up with this one. I want to get to the actual headline of what we were talking about today on the family side of things. Which is the bit of a parenting crisis that we have. I'm gonna share a quick video with you guys, and I like this one. This is I call this stuff your kids would do that mine absolutely will not be doing. Let's take a look.
Things y'all kids do that mine will absolutely not be doing. My kids will dress appropriately. Man, why is your toddler in a crop top two-piece outfit? Why is your 3-year-old in a full skin bodysuit? Around here, we wear bluey, princess, dinosaur, even neutrals. But this is too much. They have years ahead to wear these. Let's dress appropriately. Absolutely not. Number 2 is curse. Y'all think this is cute when the little kids is cursing until they keep cursing. Why are we allowing this? Absolutely not. Number 3 is listening to inappropriate music. I'm sorry, I know we did too, but this music is different. It's too much. Your 11-year-old should not be singing Pound Town. Absolutely.
Agreed.
And lastly is disrespecting teachers and authority. There is a place to stand your ground, but these kids today are horrible. We are not cursing teachers out. We are not throwing things. We are not plainly being disrespectful. And then when the teacher calls the parents, it's a problem. Ma'am, your son is not listening, fighting other kids, and cursing out the teacher. Absolutely not.
Yeah, so you say, so there's that, right? I saw quite a few things in there that I can 100% agree with. In fact, I think all of that I 100% agree with, and especially that last part. We're not going, you're not going to be causing a ruckus out in the street, and then when the teacher or whoever it is calls me, now I got a problem with the teacher. Kev, I'm gonna jump to you real quick because I know that's the story of your life to some extent. I want to get your feedback on that. What were your thoughts on that video?
It ain't enough hours in a day. We don't have enough time on this show. It's not funny, but you gotta laugh to keep from crying. So let's start here. 2 teachers at my school went to clear some students out of a stairway. When they opened the door to the stairway, a cloud of smoke hit them in the face. Both teachers caught a contact and had to go home. One teacher had to be picked up because the contact left them like so disoriented from what the students were smoking. And let's go here. They were smoking Percocets in foil. Percocets in foil.
This is what happens when the Tide Pod babies procreate.
First of all, you're not even supposed to smoke perks. You're supposed to pop them. Yep. Like let's begin there. They smoking perks in foil.
In foil.
Like, so these kids are a particular type of dumb, and this is what parents send to school. We got like fights break out, and I like it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's an education thing, because every teacher I know, regardless of county, regardless of state, is saying the same thing. Kids everywhere are wild as fuck, and like there are no consequences for them, and they know that, so they continue to be wild as fuck. Like that's it. Like, if I can talk back to a teacher and my worst consequence is in school suspension for a day, then I'm back in their classroom the next day. What did I learn? Like, if it literally takes me bringing a gun to school to get suspended, not expelled, suspended, what am I learning? Nothing.
You learning that you can get away with anything.
So that's where we are right now, to the point where, like, and again, this ain't a me problem, because my students know, well, Mr. Lewis ain't like, anybody in the building but him, because he will. Like, whatever you think a teacher not supposed to do, he will. Because I told them on day 1, I introduced myself. I said, these are my credentials. And then I said, here's what I need you to know. I have a 4-year-old son at home. I don't care what has to happen. I'm going to make it home to him. Are there any questions? And everybody knew what was up from that point. But like, this is what we up against. It's kids with attitudes. It's kids with like, and their parents think it's cute. Oh, like I want my kid to be in $200 shoes, but they can't read at grade level. What?
That part. How your kid in the 7th grade reading at a 2nd grade level? My 5-year-old reads at a 2nd grade level.
Priorities.
And I mean that literally. My 5-year-old reads at a 2nd grade level. How we got people 10, 12, 14 years old reading at a 2nd grade level. And, and really what it is, it's a lack of discipline in the home. You remember when we was kids, the worst thing, the biggest threat the teacher could give you was, I'm gonna call your mom or I'm gonna call your dad. And most times because you knew if they called your mom or your dad, it was go time. It was a problem, right? And so you calm right down. These kids now, hell, you call mom wants to fight the teacher.
What did you do to my kid?
Yeah, like what you or my personal favorite, which I'm gonna show y'all here in a second, is why can't you control my kid? Let's take a look at that one real quick.
Miss Glass from your child's school.
Yeah, I know who this is. What's going on?
Hey, I was calling because I'm having a little bit of an issue out of your son today. He is not wanting to sit down in his seat, and he will not stop talking. So
Oh my God, I thought he was sick. So y'all don't handle that?
Well, usually we use our behavior management system, which requires for us to call the parent if the behavior is
It
getting.
don't seem like it's really managing it. If y'all can't. I'm trying to work.
And I understand that, and I also am trying to work, but I want us to work together to ensure the success of your scholar.
She trying to get smart. Okay.
No, ma'am, I'm not trying to get smart. I just want us to work together to ensure the success of your scholar.
Well, what he doing?
He won't sit down and he won't stop talking. Therefore, he's not able
You
to
tell me
complete.
you can't make him sit down.
Well, I can't make a child do anything. I can request it, I can ask it, but I can't make him do it. And so I'm wanting to work together.
Like, I brought him, I sent him up there to that school because y'all need to know how to handle him. I thought they had teachers that know how to handle kids. If y'all can't handle them, I don't know what you want me to do.
Is Miss Glass from your child's school?
Yeah.
Wow. If you can't handle them, you can't control them. I don't know what you want me to do. Are parents just giving up? I talk a lot about people, and I'm saying people. I'm saying people, but I'm talking a lot about people who have abandoned their post. I often talk about mothers in this case who have abandoned their post, right? And forgot that there is a responsibility, a shared responsibility in nurturing and raising a child that becomes a, law-abiding, well-mannered citizen to the best of your ability. There's a responsibility in that. And we just showing, that's just one example of many. There's so many examples that she felt like she needed to record it. Let's put it that way. Okay. Here's an example of a parent who is just giving up on even trying to discipline their kid. LB, what's your thought?
This is the culture that we have produced in this country, where we have to work so much that we're now relying on teachers to be parents, but we're also telling teachers that they got to tie both hands and feet behind their backs and expect them to be able to control, nurture, provide. We're expecting the teachers to be second parents without
First
giving
parents.
them parental authorization to do parental things.
First parents.
So, in some cases, parent number one, the first parents, the parent. Kids are having kids. So it's tough. I can understand why she recorded it. She wanted the evidence. It's she wanted to put it out there. This is the age that we live in. Is like everything. Nothing's everything is televised, right? So so it's like the parent is saying, "What do you want me to do? Get your child in order." Because I don't have the rights to do so. If you, when I was growing up,
We
Trey,
used
you
to
can
have the
attest
right
to
to
this.
do
We
so.
went to the same. We went to the same school. Two times in a row, right?
Mhm.
And where the principal and select teachers were given the right to do parental duties, i.e., get that ass in order
Take that
when we
ruler.
weren't doing it. Whether it was the ruler or after a certain age was
It's the
that
yardstick.
fist to the chest. It, but again, things are different now. They're again, the ask is greater than the allowance, right? It is greater than you're telling me, oh, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, but no. By law, I can't. I can't do that. So get your kid together. Like, why are you asking me? That's your kid, right? Is that your kid? Or is that your friend?
You know,
Is that
it's interesting.
is that just
It's
a roommate?
interesting. Yeah. Basically, that's very interesting that there was a point where it was pretty much understood that if you was out and about, because it didn't just extend to the teachers at the school, it extended to the
Oh,
neighbors, it extended to the people at the
neighborhoods,
church, and so
neighborhoods.
on. Like it
Yeah.
basically, if you got caught out of line, and said adult also knows your mom or also knows your dad and sees you acting out in the street, they had carte blanche to come get you and deal with you, right? And nowadays, I get it to some extent that you say, hey man, look, if my child needs to be disciplined, I'll handle the disciplining. But and that's great when you actually handle the disciplining. This woman wasn't handling the disciplining.
He wanted y'all to handle it, but also
It's
don't
literally
want
what
you to
she
handle
said.
it. But it's Lady V's comment. If the teacher made her son sit down, she'd be up at the school, loud
Yep.
and wrong. Like,
Yep.
because that's what happens when we tell these kids about themselves, when we put them in school suspension, when we send them home, parents be up at the school ready to fight. Oh, you did such and such to my child. No, your child was in the wrong, and we literally, if they weren't late, if they had a pass, if they weren't skipping, if they weren't doing drugs, if they weren't fighting, if they weren't, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But it's
If they
always
weren't if they weren't actually doing the thing that they're in trouble for doing, then we wouldn't be having this conversation.
but it's always, what did y'all do to my kid? It's always that first.
Yeah, yeah. I remember this one. The teacher wanting to fight another teacher, another aide, for telling the son not to touch the cleaning products because I guess they just let their kid touch cleaning products and so on and so forth in their house. But then if the kid ends up drinking bleach, then that same parent is going to be sitting there saying, hey, how could y'all let my kid get into
Drink what?
cleaning products? He's only 5.
Fire that person. Fire that teacher.
Yeah, and we want to fire that teacher. So I think and this is, in my opinion, I think this is why there are not a lot of male teachers in schools anymore, because you can't do nothing to them. And the most you can do, maybe at the high school level, is make it known, like Kev does in his classroom, make it known I'm not the one. But in most cases, at least again, I know when it comes to discipline for men, I know most men are like, nah, what do you mean? I got to give them a stern talking to. I got to kick them out of the classroom. They go to the principal's office, 15 minutes, cool down, get some candy and some breath mints and come back. Nah, I'm not putting up with that. I'm not putting up with that. Shout out to the Kevs of the world that put up with that. And then I know he does it differently. Like shout out to him for real, because he does it differently. But I wouldn't put up with that. I remember I was in school to be a music educator, to do education, and then I learned you gotta learn through all these nuanced things to connect to the kids and get them to act better. How's that working nowadays? All this nuance talking to, how's that working?
And hands are rated E for everyone.
Straight like
Hey,
that.
folks, this is the
So
byproduct of how you let the cancel culture run the education
yep,
system.
yep, yep,
Like,
yep,
I
and
even remember when I was in school, my teachers and my neighbors had written consent from my parents. If you seen me act out of pocket in any way, oh, best believe I was getting dealt with in school. When I got out of school, if my parents were still at work, oh, I got it. When they got home, I got it, and I knew not to do that again. But the fact that it sickens me that I've actually worked as a teacher's aide before and had a parent show up at the school wanting to fight the teacher for the student lashing out wanting to fight the teacher.
We're in wild times, man.
Insane.
You're showing up to the school not to correct your child, not to find out what the best solution is, but you coming up to waste your energy to say, "Oh, I can't believe y'all called me up here for this." Like, what's your job? What you supposed to do, man?
That's narcissism. It's when it's not actually about the child. And there's a lot of people, unfortunately, who operate like that. Because if you're really about your child, you want them to be, you want them to be well rounded and kind and all that stuff. But you also want them to be well disciplined. And somebody got to do the discipline, and it's got to, if dad's not there, it's got to be the mom. If dad is there, I believe personally that it should be dad, right? That's just my opinion. But somebody has to discipline the child, otherwise we have a bigger problem. So this last thing I want to show y'all real quick is kind of a microcosm of that, because we saw what happens when they get in the classroom and how some of the parents act with these scholars. She calls them scholars. In a few years, we'll be calling them thugs and everything else. And deservedly so. Not because they're black, but because the little nigglets are thugs. Right?
It is what it is.
It is what it is, man. We got to start being honest about this kind of thing. So, there is a position, there is a role that men and women are supposed to play. So let's jump in with our final topic, which is our headline topic. We're going to talk about is society under-fathered and over-mothered. Let's talk about it.
Young men are over-mothered, under-fathered. All the fathers said, amen. When the boy is little, does he need his mother? Yes. So mother's in the first position, father's in the second position. When the boy gets older, needs his father. Controversial, more than his mother. Because what happens when a boy is little, a mom's instincts are protect him, feed him, nurture him, keep him out of harm's way, make sure he succeeds and he feels good about himself. When he's in his 20s, dad says, you need to let him grow up, make some mistakes, stumble over his own feet, earn his own food, get off the payroll, lose a little bit. If you don't have a father who steps in those crucial years, you get boys all the way to retirement. They never become men.
What's going on?
It's not a problem. It's not a problem at all. Hold on.
Come on.
It's not a problem. Every time he come with me and I chastise him about something, he want to get in his feelings and shoot you a text message.
Okay.
He want to go back home.
All right. But the thing is, you run your house like a boot camp. That's why your other kids ain't happy there.
No,
He's not used to that.
I run my house with structure and discipline. That's what I run my household with. I'm not saying that you're not doing a good job of that, but that's what I run my house with. And when he get in his feelings, he want to come home because I chastise him.
Right. But he don't do that there. I do everything here. I clean his room. I do the dishes. I clean up. He don't do that. That's why he don't ever want to be there. He don't want to be at your house because you run that shit like a fucking boot camp, man.
You can't be serious. How you gonna raise a young man like that? He ain't gonna be able to know how to fend for himself. Cook, clean, mow the grass. He ain't gonna be able to do none of that shit.
He can do other stuff. He can do other stuff.
Who's teaching him?
I'm teaching him.
How you?
He still got to learn how to be compassionate towards others and be nice to others.
Listen,
you're doing too much on him,
I'm
man.
not doing too much. You raising this boy to be too goddamn soft, man.
What you mean by soft?
Look, at the rate he gonna end up being a felon on the street, a fucking mama's boy don't nobody want, or you gonna end up being gay. One of the three.
Okay, but you already have a son that's gay.
But I didn't raise him. But that's just my opinion.
So you saying I'm raising him, I'm turning him to be gay.
That's not what I'm saying. See, you trying to change the whole narrative. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about me disciplining my son and you not being an interference. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, look though. That's not how I discipline though.
He could be
you
whatever
too hard on.
He could be whatever he want to be. Let's get that straight.
Okay. But you too hard on him. You too hard on him.
I'm supposed to be hard on them. That's wrong with these kids.
Why
now.
You think your other kids don't want to come? You too hard on them, man. That's too much. Let them be a kid.
So I got to be the fall guy because I want to be hard on my kids to make sure they turn out right, better than I did.
Look, come on, come on, baby, come on, get out the car.
Oh my gosh, man, that's the whole.
Come on. Come on.
Really,
Go on
son?
now. Come on. Mama take care of you. I'll take you shopping later on, okay?
See what I'm talking about? That's the type of shit I'm talking about. That type shit.
Man, Jaquez, go on. We don't need that shit. Go on. Go on about your business, man. We don't need that.
Really?
Because the thing is this. At the end of the day, I take care of them. All I asked you to do was to step in and give them some,
That's
talking
good.
to.
That's all I'm
Just
doing.
talk
That's
to
my
them.
son, man. That's all I'm trying to do is
Just
be there for him and raise
talk
him
to
right.
them. You don't got to discipline and yell at
Listen,
them out.
I ain't had my father in my life, okay? So I know what it feel like, but I need to raise him and discipline him and show him the right way. Better than I did. You feel?
No, I don't agree with you on that part. I don't agree with you on that part.
You can't be serious, man. That's bullshit, man.
Man, just go on and go. I'll take care of my son from here. We
I
don't
don't
need
want
you.
no-
We don't
okay.
need you. We good.
Hey, keep that same energy when you need some money now.
All right.
All right.
I think we have the men beat, ladies. I think we're the problem. I'm sorry. We are.
You have to look and say, who groomed them?
We're sick people. We're working for the future. Because working for the present, we ain't making no progress.
We are sick people. We are sick people. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna just say, first and foremost, that last video. That's how you raise a bitch. All right, Q. Let's start with you. What's your thought?
I think Savannah has just summed up how I feel in one comment. It makes my blood boil. For the simple fact that you don't want your father, as a father figure, you don't want the father of your child to discipline him. Feeds into the equation of us having problematic households of single mothers trying to raise a child. Well, not just a child, but a boy to a man. It's already been proven that men are needed in their child's life. It's been proven in research. Why aren't you letting him step up and do his role? And then the fact that you pacify your child done wrong, and you're pacifying them, oh, I'm going to just fix it and take you shopping? What kind of society are we in now? I don't get it. I'm trying to grasp the concept
A
of
soft
what
one.
just happened.
It's a real soft society. Rich, what's your thought? I see you too, Kev. You coming next?
So here's what I'll say, right? Because the biggest thing he said was, I didn't have a father in my life. So, he's trying to do better by his son. And the reality is, though, that he can only do better than what he had, and from what he's learned. Maybe he had a great mentor in his life, because there are some great father figures out there that can step up in place, and that do step up in place, especially when you have a community involved, right? But it's going to take that community. It's going to take, it's going to take men teaching men, because when we hear, it's so funny where, you do have some ladies, females, that want to raise their men or keep them away from their the father of the child, because they don't agree with how they want to raise their son, and it's like, you hear it all the time where men need to step up and be men, this, that, and the third, but for a lot of men, they don't know what that looks like. They don't know what you mean by that, because they're just trying to do better than what they had. As he said, they're just trying to be better than what they had. If somebody didn't have a father in their life, then they're trying to be better than that, right? And that could be, in their minds, as simple as, well, I was present. because that in itself is better than what they had. So this struggle. I don't know why there is a struggle when the most important part is the child, right? So both parents should be involved and focused on what's best for the child. So
Well,
here I'm gonna say the mom.
the problem here is it's not about what's best for the child. This is about what's best for the mama.
Well, that's what I was. That's you jumped in, but that's what I
My
was getting
bad, my bad,
to
my
go
bad.
into is the problem here because I did say the problem here. The problem here is what you just said. So
My bad. I was on the same page with you. I was like, oh shit, man.
Finishing each other's sentences and whatnot.
Yeah, you know.
I, all right, so I am gonna answer one of the questions in a comment. Is this a skit? I think it is. However, this is a very realistic one because we've seen all too often where there are mothers who want to deny a father access to the son, and it does create a ton of issues. Like there are, and like it everything is what it is. I cannot tell a woman how to be a woman. If I were to have a daughter, I could do the very best by her that I could, but I wasn't born with the same parts. I wasn't born with the same like emotions. I wasn't born with the same like it's a lot of things that I don't have because I'm not a woman. So I can't tell a woman how to be a woman. When you have a son, you have to let a father raise his son because the man should be raising the son. Not to say that the mom has no role in it, but there are things that the mom has no idea about because she was not born with a penis. Okay? Because there are only two genders, male and female. So, like, let's let the similar genders roll with what they know so that you can raise them in the right direction. I would never want my son to be without me, and I am exactly what that man said, raised without a father. And grateful that men stepped up to be what they were. My mother did the very best she could, but she could not have certain discussions with me. There were men who had to step in and have those discussions with me because you don't know what it's like to get an erection. You don't know what it's like to have a wet dream. You don't know what it's like all of these things that boys experience, that men experience. You don't know what that feels like. So that's a different conversation. So to deny a father his right to step in and handle an aspect that would ultimately make your life easier makes zero sense to me. And I think that's where a lot of this disconnect is. Like fathers have to be who they are for their children. Like, and we talked about this last week, and that was in relation to a husband over his wife, a partner. You know what I'm saying? Like in that case, protection does not come without correction. The same principle applies to your kids. If you want them to be protected, you have to correct them. Like you cannot have one without the other. I die is what I'm saying.
Yep, that sums it up.
Yeah. In addition, I'm gonna push back on one thing. A discipline, and not something you said necessarily, but just something that was said. Um, a disciplined and structured child is one. I think it was this comment. Yeah, here it is. You need discipline and structure and not to be treated like a baby, but also be emotionally intelligent and able to communicate. A disciplined and structured child is one that is emotionally intelligent and able to communicate because they're disciplined and they grew up in a place called a place of structure. So they know how to talk. They would therefore know how to talk. They would know how to respond properly. They would know how to respond well, right? They're disciplined. A disciplined man is a man that won't do certain things that they may feel the urge to do. I see. I got you. A disciplined man is a man that won't do the things that they may have the urge to do. That's literally what a disciplined person is, right? So that's the only thing I'm gonna push back on is that, yes, you need discipline and structure, and this is not just for men; it's for little girls too. This for little girls too, because otherwise, that's where we get some of y'all from. Not none of y'all, because I know y'all don't. None of y'all that watch this and that are liked and subscribed and share this around with your friends. None of you are these people, but that's where some of these other ones come from. Not disciplined, no structure, allowed to get away with whatever you want, do pretty much whatever you want. All that does is create an adult who thinks the same thing and then gets hit in the mouth one way or the other. Gets hit in the mouth by society, gets hit in the mouth, or gets hit in the mouth when they end up in jail. You know what I'm saying? So in the end, you want somebody who was raised to be disciplined and to have structure. And while that's not the only thing, that is a very important thing, because what you can't have is somebody that's all emotional but not disciplined. That emotional and not disciplined is why you have these dangerous bastards of single mothers running amok all through the inner cities. Because you have kids, you're raising kids that are emotional but not disciplined. You gotta have all the above. And then with little boy, and listen, no dad wants their son to grow up and be soft. And I also want to point out that he said soft at first, not people are going to fixate on the gay part because that's what we've been taught to do since 2012. But what he said was that's how you raise your kid to be soft, and that's why I'm saying the same thing. That's how you raise your kid to be soft. You raise him to be emotionally intelligent. You raise the kid, the boy, to choose retail therapy when they're sad, because that's what she's teaching them. That's what she's teaching them. You're sad, go shopping, go irresponsibly spend money. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is a big problem because I think boys and girls are getting the talk it out, hug it out, emotional nurturing side of things, which is great and that's cute. But in the end, all of that don't mean shit because the world doesn't give a shit about none of that. The outside world don't care about none of that. You better know, you get pulled over by a cop, your ass better be disciplined and structured and not emotional. Just saying. And especially if you black. Okay? I'm just saying. So yeah, we got to get on this discipline thing. And now the last thing I'll say is, was this a skit? No, but I've experienced firsthand in 4K, like the kids say, firsthand in 4K, that exact scenario. That exact scenario. That's how you raise your kid to be soft. That's how you raise your kid to be, boy or girl. That's how you raise them to be soft, dependent, narcissistic, airheaded little bitches. You take the parent, you take the father, you take the discipline structure away from it. They feel like they can always call you because mama's Captain Save a Hoe, or dad. Sometimes it's dad too. I hate when it's dad like that. I hate that. Right? But you're Captain Save a Hoe. So your baby just grows up to be a hoe. Boy hoe or girl hoe just grows up to be a hoe, waiting for mama to save him. That's an example. Again, there's examples, and the man was right. This is how you raise your kid to be soft. And Generation Z is the gayest generation in history. And they're about to start having babies, unfortunately. So this is where we are. So that nowadays the soft boy might mean gay because we are in the gayest generation in world history. And I'm not saying that's not me saying that. That's an actual statistic. This is actually the gayest generation in world history. So Why is emotional and emotionally aware implied to be a negative? Who implied it to be a negative?
Because it's
Wait,
me. My
wait.
hand.
Hold on,
My
because I
hand.
do want that. I do want your answer, Kev.
I
But
was
who
correct.
implied it to be a negative?
We got to find a way to get guests to like be able to. We should be able to hit a button and be like, "Bing," and they're in the show. That'd be awesome. We're gonna work on that.
To speak their piece.
Yeah, I would like to
No,
hear
and
this.
and so I'll say, just to double down, it's not. And this is when I raised my hand a while ago, this was the story that I wanted to tell because my guy is my guy, and there's nobody on here that doesn't know how much I love my son. But I am one who is raising him to be disciplined but emotionally intelligent. So he takes swim lessons every week. I was never afforded the ability to take swim lessons, voice lessons, piano lessons, no lessons at all. So my son's in swim lessons, been in swim lessons since he was 9 months. And so I've seen week after week, his progress and his growth and all of those things. So recently he's been in a regression where he's like fearful to do some of the things that he's been doing for a while. So like our emotionally intelligent conversation outside of the water was why are you saying no to things that you've been doing, and he was accountable for every one of his actions. That's his emotional intelligence. But the discipline was, you're not allowed to tell your teacher no. Like that's it. Like, you understand your teacher's job is to do their job. So when you tell them no, there's a consequence that comes with saying no. And so we had to face those consequences this week. So while we were able to have the conversation about why everything looked the way it did, felt the way it did, why he thought the way he did, and he could express himself in a way that I freely allowed him to do, what I'm saying, even discussing, well, I'm scared. We've done it before, but it's, again, kids regress at certain points. So we could have that emotionally intelligent conversation. But when it came to saying no to your teacher, like, and being outright defiant, that's a discipline aspect. So we're covering both of those things. And I feel like, again, the heart of the video that we saw, because, and everybody said it, they're going to harp on the gay part, they're going to harp on the soft part, but the heart of it was like a father is going to be there to discipline the child. A father is going to be there to rear the child, to correct the child, because that's a God-given responsibility for a father to his child, and not even just the child, a father to his family. Again, if you are to be the head of the household, the hedge of protection over the family, it comes with a rod of correction. And so, like, we're covering all the bases. It's not beat the shit out your child, because that's a beat, but it's also not, hey, don't do that. Like, that's it. That's not where it stops. So all of these things can be covered.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly right. That is exactly right. And I'm glad she posted this, because I was about to go in on the 3 comments before that, because this is what I'm saying. You can't be emotional, but the thing I said about the cops is you better be disciplined and structured and not just emotional. Right?
Well, again,
That's not just with a cop. That's if you at work. That's if you with your husband. That's, you know what I'm saying. Whatever it is. Go ahead, LB.
Words have meaning, right? So if you're emotional, right, and I'm going to the meaning, right, it's having feelings that are easily excited and openly displayed. But again, words have meaning, right? If you're emotional intelligence, right? Emotional intelligence. If you're emotionally intelligent, right? That means the ability to manage both your own emotions and understand the emotions of people around you. So there's a difference there where you're emotional and then you are emotionally intelligent. So there is a difference in that, and that's what we're just pointing out, is that you know if you're going to say I'm emotionally intelligent, that means you're able to uh, 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 validate the feelings of somebody else, being able to manage those feelings, both your own and the other person's, being able to respond in a way that you're understanding, and then you're having that conversation versus being triggered, which a lot of people can be
So what you're
triggered
saying
by
is,
something. And if you're ever triggered, that means emotional intelligence is out the window, because
so
that
what
means
you're
you can't
saying.
manage both.
So are you saying that emotional intelligence is discipline? Because it sounds like you're saying emotional intelligence is discipline.
I mean, listen, words mean things, right? So come on, hello. If you're ever
So
triggered and you think of yourself as an emotionally intelligent person or highly emotionally intelligent person or whatever it is, and you're triggered, throw it out the window. Let's not confuse ourselves here. There's some healing that needs to be done. All right, come on.
emotional means you feel it. Emotional intelligence is you can manage it.
You can
Emo, e-
manage it
emo,
now.
being
We
emotional
got to
means
the
you can
point
feel it.
where
Emotional intelligence means you can manage it. That's the difference. And that is why you see a lot of and it's not obviously it's not everybody, and there was some people had great single parents, dad and mom, all that stuff, right? But you can usually tell, especially in men, you can usually tell, excuse me, by their lack of emotional intelligence, how much their father played a role in their life. And you usually can tell in women the same thing based on their lack of emotional intelligence, how much of an impact their father or grandfather or whatever had in their life. You usually can tell because you learn those things, because you learn bottom line things from your father, because men are bottom line people. I understand you feel this way. However, that's not true. This is what it is. We have to move forward. Take my hand. Let's go. We don't have time to sit here and coddle and cry about your feelings. I understand that you have them, and it's great that you do have them, but we got to keep moving. And you need to understand what the truth is. And I can help you I can help you manage your way through through those feelings of sadness and disappointment that you have, that what you thought was the case is not the case. However, we got to
some
continue
men,
moving.
not all.
Some, not all, because nothing's true for everybody.
Everything is always some, not all. You know what I mean, right? Like it's always going to be some, not all. But by and large, you learn that because, again, as Kev said, that's something that we naturally have in us, put in us by the Almighty, right? Women are biologically, because there's only two genders, and anybody that thinks otherwise needs to have their structure and discipline and their father to tell them with emotional intelligence that although you might feel like these things, those things are not true. And this is what reality is, and we need to move forward with what reality is. Now we can work on your feelings and help you grow in your feelings over time. However, there's no such thing as a Zim or a Zer. That sounds stupid. Don't say that anymore. Yeah, my bad. I think we're all looking at some of the comments. My bad.
Yes.
Yeah,
For sure. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's it doesn't matter what these kids learn at home when they get away from their parents. These kids are different. It's also the circle of friends they choose. Well, that's also very true, and that's why that's why the family structure is important in the home. Yes, there are going to be some people kids and so on that stray away. There, of course, are going to be that. But if you're actively involved in your kid's life and you're setting the foundation, I got to go above us and I got to go biblically. Biblically, you train up a child in the way they should go. When they get older, they remember. When things happen, they remember and they hear that voice in the back of their head right? And say, hey, yeah, you shouldn't be doing that. And, we all have free will. So they either choose to, it's not a magic trick. It's not like you say it 3 times and it automatically makes them listen to whatever you said. We still have free will, but you train them up so that they know
Think twice.
better, so that they think twice. Exactly. It doesn't mean they won't make the mistake. We all do. I certainly did. I had a great foundation. I certainly made mistakes. Screwed up plenty of times. But at a point, there were certain points where I really thought better of my decision. And it's a good thing in a lot of those cases. So, your responsibility to your kids is to teach them the right thing. You're supposed to teach them what right looks like. Right? That's our obligation, is to show them what right looks like. And when we're disqualifying the other parent, we keeping the kid from the other parent, because both parents are necessary. Even if you're co-parenting, both parents are necessary. And if we getting into a situation where we're doing things to keep the child from the other parent in cases that aren't dealing with abuse, you're doing your child a disservice. You're disabling them by enabling them. I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. Q, you got anything you want to add, bro?
Nope, y'all covered my bases. I'm solid, bro.
Q here so he don't get fined.
Basically.
I'm just monitoring so we don't get canceled.
Hey, man, it's all good. But look, man, that is it. We are way over time, but this was definitely a good one. Thank y'all. It's always fun, man. Always a good time. Yeah, take us out, man. What you got for us, bro?
I got what I said at the start, man. We gotta love ourselves. Like, when you're on the airplane and they talk to you, they say put your own mask on before you help your neighbor. So if you're not loving on yourself, just take some time to appreciate where you are, who you are, how far you've come, and love on yourself, because that's the season that we're in. Like, it's about love, but it really starts with love of self. So take care of yourself. Be good to each other. Like, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll catch y'all next week.
We're gonna end where we began, and discernment. Again, it's discern. That was the time. Like, really dig into it. Dig into the meat of everything. And listen. There's no more surface. Like, let's get into it. Let's dig deeper. Let's go deeper. Giggity. Because it needs to happen sooner than later. But love you guys. Hey, like, subscribe, share, all the above. And we're gonna see you next week. Same bad channel, same bad time. We're gonna have a good time. And y'all have a good night. We love y'all.
All right, y'all. Always a pleasure being on with you guys. Thank you for the support and the continued support. Make sure you tell your friends, your cousin, your auntie, your mama, your granddaddy. Tell all of them hop on here and get some good nuggets. What I'm going to leave you with is somebody out there might need to hear it, but you all are important. You are loved, and most importantly, when you were designed, God did not make a mistake. When you feel like you're inadequate, just know that what you have and what you have been equipped with is more than enough. Love y'all. Can't wait to see y'all again. Out of here.
God might have needed to think twice about some of y'all. No, I'm kidding. Okay, all right. I'm kidding. All right. Nah, man, listen, take care of yourselves. We appreciate y'all. We love y'all. Again, y'all are the best part of everything that we do. But listen, man, these things that we're talking about, we're trying to work for the future. We're trying to work for, something greater than us. It's not about, it's not all about us, and it shouldn't be about us. The Bible says that a good man leaves an inheritance for his children's children, right? So this isn't about us. It's not even about the next generation. It's about the generations after that. We have to start making some changes and bringing some conversations to the table. Otherwise, we're screwed. We can look at some of the trends generationally from, the baby boomers, the Generation X, to the millennials, the Gen Z, to Gen Alpha, right? We had one group doing Tide Pods, and we had another group smoking perks out of foil, right? You know what I'm saying? Like we're heading off a cliff really, really fast. So we got to pay attention. We got to stay vigilant. This is not time for business as usual. I really believe that it's not time for business as usual, but it's time to take care of yourselves. It's time to engage if you have children. If you don't have children, don't have children till you're ready to have them children. Don't do it. We don't, because some of y'all just took matters into your own hands instead of letting God decide for you. You took matters in your own hands. You got these little nigglets running around the street. I'm just saying. All right. But anyway, all right. But yeah, y'all take care of yourselves. We're gonna catch y'all on the next one as always. That's it for all of us here at Up to It Down to It, man. We appreciate y'all one more time. Like, share, subscribe, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're gonna catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Oh, those fireworks.